So the Colts have Fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys, and Caitlin Clark grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do this, I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like...
Caitlin Clark is more than just the WNBA's public face. Sophie Cunningham claims that she is in charge of everything in Indiana. And what Cunningham recently said on her show has fans going crazy and league insiders scrambling. We're talking about a commissioner who is just completely trashed on social media, LeBron-level control, and covert team tactics to bring her down. However, this is the topic that no one is discussing. This is much more than just basketball. This is about a league that was not prepared for what Clark had to offer, power and envy. Cunningham's revelations alter our preconceived notions about the WNBA's purported sisterhood. When Sophie Cunningham sat down for her most recent podcast episode, she did not hold back. The effect from her shocking revelation is still being felt. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 85% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already?
Great.
Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Playing for the Fever is not all that Clark does. She essentially runs the show like a seasoned superstar who has been in the game for 10 years, controlling the offensive scheme and having a significant say in club choices. Even after years of demonstrating her abilities, Cunningham likened Clark's impact to that of LeBron James, claiming that she had the type of power that most rookies could only imagine. Nor was this a mere observation. Having played with some of the top names in women's basketball, Cunningham is well-versed in the league. People pay attention when she speaks. Basketball communities were rocked by the discovery, since it validated many people's suspicions that no one dared to voice. A novice with such power. That is almost unheard of in professional sports, and the league is unable to overlook the discomfort it is causing veterans. Nor was the analogy to LeBron made at random. Consider it. Even LeBron had to earn his stripes before front offices began constructing whole teams around his vision, despite the fact that he entered the NBA with enormous fanfare. As soon as Clark arrived in Indianapolis, he took charge of the team's future. According to Cunningham, Clark and the coaching staff often discuss plays, modifications, and even player choices. For any rookie, much alone one who just graduated from college months ago, it is abnormal. In a sense, the Fever gave her the kingdom's keys. And Cunningham says Clark has not let him down. She has shown her ability to manage the task. However, there is a lot of friction in the league, since she has it all. Veterans who have worked hard for years are seeing a 22-year-old use power they have never had. However, Cunningham's revelation of what was going on behind closed doors during Clark's first season was the real tea. Teams were not only attempting to outscore her on the scoreboard, they were planning to physically and psychologically destroy her. Cunningham said that the Phoenix Mercury, her previous club, made open discussions about making Clark's life miserable during every game in the locker room. The tactic was ruthless and straightforward. See whether the collegiate standout could handle the big leagues when things went filthy by toughening her up, being aggressive, and pushing the limits of what referees would call. This was not a game of basketball. Under the cover of veteran hazing, this was psychological warfare. The Mercury players publicly spoke about how they needed to put Clark to the test, smack her about, and let her know that the WNBA was not going to throw a red carpet party simply because she attracted millions of viewers and corporate sponsorships. Cunningham made it very evident that this was a coordinated effort by several veterans who were genuinely alarmed by the attention Clark was receiving, even though she did not identify every player involved in these discussions. Consider the ramifications of this. As Clark entered arenas where opponents had literally planned how to intimidate her, the media was hailing her as the women's basketball game's savior. Her encounter with physical play was not coincidental or merely a feature of the game. It was deliberate, planned, and intended to convey a message. Veterans wanted to see if she would fight back or give in to pressure. They wanted to know if Clark was just another overhyped college player who would struggle against professional competition, or if the hype was genuine. Cunningham's admission supports all of the grievances raised by Clark's supporters regarding the treatment she endured during the season. Then came the turning point, when Cunningham became Clark's unofficial bodyguard. Things quickly got out of control during a furious game between Mercury and the Fever. In what appeared to be a purposefully violent altercation, Clark became entangled with a Mercury player. Suddenly, Cunningham found herself in the center of it all, shocking everyone by fiercely defending her new teammate. The cameras recorded everything. Cunningham made it very evident that anyone pursuing Clark would have to pass through her first by getting into fights and hurling her body between Clark and opponents. The internet blew up. Videos of Cunningham defending Clark received millions of views on all social media sites. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Everyone was talking about it. Her following count soared up from roughly 400,000 to over 1 million virtually overnight, and businesses began seeking out for collaborations immediately. She was hit with a $900 punishment for her activities during the game. And you know what she did? She wore it like a badge of pride and practically challenged the league to penalize her again. Cunningham subsequently quipped on social media that it was the finest $900 she had spent since it showed the world precisely where she stood and what she was prepared to sacrifice for her friend. The enforcer job wasn't something she planned or auditioned for, but once she accepted it, there was no coming back. Suddenly, Cunningham wasn't simply another good WNBA player. She was Clark's guardian, the one person in the league ready to openly stand up for the rookie. Everyone else appeared determined to tear down. That viral incident didn't merely improve her popularity, but profoundly transformed how fans and players perceived their relationship and Cunningham's position on the team. Fast forward to the off-season, and Cunningham determined she wasn't done creating headlines or destroying bridges with league leadership. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert made certain statements during an interview that rubbed folks the wrong way, notably when she referenced Clark's name with a 16 inches $1 million amount. Angelbert stated that Clark's presence brought substantial financial advantages to the league, which isn't untrue technically, but the way she worded it made it seem like the league deserved credit for Clark's star power rather than accepting that Clark herself was the cause for the financial bump.
Cunningham became
enraged. In a message that left little room for interpretation, she vehemently criticized Angelbert on Instagram. Within minutes, the message went viral when she referred to her as the WNBA's most deluded leader. Players, fans, and media figures all offered their opinions. Cunningham received accolades from some for speaking truth to power and voicing opinions that other players were afraid to express in public. Some believed that she went too far and humiliated the commissioner in a manner that would harm her career in the long run. However, no one could ignore it. The post was all over the place. All of a sudden, Angelbert was on the defense and had to respond to criticism from one of the most prominent players in the league. Cunningham was not only attempting to create drama to get attention or criticizing Angelbert for no reason at all. She was genuinely incensed about the commissioner's apparent attempt to claim credit for Clark's impact while neglecting to shield her from the physical play and targeting she endured during the season. According to Cunningham, the league administration did nothing significant to stop Clark from being blasted game after game. The criticism was unedited, direct, and personal. Cunningham avoided using formal or diplomatic words. She did not later apologize for saying exactly what she meant to say. The decision was risky because the WNBA is still a small league, and a player's career may suffer greatly if they have a falling out with the leadership. However, it is obvious that Cunningham came to the conclusion that speaking up was preferable to remaining silent. Fans who had been dissatisfied with the way the league handled Clark's rookie season used her Instagram post as a rallying cry. It also revealed a widening gap between players who think preferential treatment compromises the sport's competitive integrity and those who think the league must safeguard its stars. The discoveries from the podcast continued and intensified. Cunningham did not stop at complimenting Clark's skill or standing up for her dignity in the face of criticism. She attacked anybody who did not recognize Clark as the league's undeniable face. She also did not refrain from throwing blows. In an NSFW rant that had listeners hitting rewind and sharing clips everywhere, Cunningham called out critics and doubters by name and reputation, saying, Anyone who doesn't see Clark as the centerpiece of the WNBA is literally dumb and probably jealous of the attention she's receiving. She wasn't mincing words or playing politics. This was honest, unvarnished advice from someone who's been in the trenches and knows precisely what Clark brings to the table beyond simply her on-court play. Cunningham demonstrated in detail that Clark's effect extends much beyond numbers, highlights, and Instagram followers. She's brought unprecedented public exposure to women's basketball, sold out venues that used to be half empty, crashed ticket websites, and caused casual fans who never cared about the WNBA now tune in regularly to see her play. Merchandise sales surged. TV ratings rose and quadrupled. Business sponsors that neglected women's basketball for decades suddenly wanted in. To dispute that truth, according to Cunningham, is to be intentionally stupid or so driven by envy that you can't see beyond your own ego. She pointed out that rising tides raise all boats, meaning every player in the WNBA benefits financially and professionally from the attention Clark brings, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Here's where things get intriguing, however, and this is the portion that truly displays the depth of their connection. Cunningham and Clark's relationship is not some idealized fairy tale of teammates who like each other and spend all of their spare time together. Despite all the defending, public support, and viral bodyguard moments, Cunningham publicly ridiculed Clark's looks in the comments section of a swimsuit promotional post. Yes, it was lighthearted banter, but it revealed an aspect of their relationship that fans do not usually see or comprehend. They do not wear matching friendship bracelets and are closest friends. They are rivals who appreciate one another's skills and recognize each other's contributions to the team, but they are not scared to poke fun at one another when the situation demands it or when one of them does something deserving of ridicule. Cunningham has never been the kind to pretend to be close to someone simply because it looks nice on social media or to fabricate connections for public consumption. Clark does not seem to be either. Instead of being buddy-buddy off the court or spending a lot of time together outside of team events, their friendship is based on respect for one another, a shared passion for competition, and a genuine knowledge of what it takes to accomplish at the highest level. They encourage one another throughout practice, support one another when things become tough, and do not hesitate to confront one another when needed. In actuality, it is much more significant than any manufactured bond that exists just for team PR and Instagram postings. Real relationships have layers, and often the greatest teammates are the ones who maintain their authenticity even while the cameras are running, as the bikini remark demonstrated. What does this really imply for Clark, the league, and women's basketball going forward? With a level of power that utterly defies all conventional norms and rewrites the rules on the treatment of rookie superstars, Clark has joined the WNBA. She is not waiting her time, paying dues, or discreetly picking up tips from veterans who believe they know better. She is changing the way the league functions both on and off the court, demanding respect and receiving it right away. Franchises have had to reconsider their marketing plans, roster formation, and even TV contract negotiations as a result of her presence. Cunningham's readiness to openly criticize league leadership, speak out, and stand up for Clark at every opportunity demonstrates the WNBA's continued division over its new reality and future. There are players and executives that legitimately dislike the attention Clark receives and wish the league as a whole had more attention. They fear the WNBA is becoming too reliant on one person's star power and see her as a danger to their own relevancy. Then there are some, like Cunningham, who see that everyone benefits from rising tides and that everyone will have greater chances as a result of Clark's success. There will not be any relief from the strain anytime soon. If anything, it will become more intense as Clark keeps breaking records and dominating. You can guarantee that the drama is far from ended as another season draws near. Teams will keep attempting to slow her down. Veterans will continue to wonder whether she merits all the attention, and Cunningham will likely continue to voice her opinions regardless of who they offend. The WNBA is at a real turning point that will shape women's basketball for the next 10 years. Everyone involved, players, coaches, executives, the media, and fans, has been compelled to choose sides due to Clark's domination both on and off the court. Are you among the traditionalists who want things done the old-fashioned way? Or are you prepared to welcome a new age in which superstars are seen as the franchise-altering abilities that they really are? Without offering an apology, Cunningham openly and loudly supported her. One thing is certain, regardless of whether you believe she is entirely correct or going too far, she does not hesitate to express what others would only murmur behind closed locker room doors or in secret group discussions. And that type of harsh honesty may be precisely what basketball needs right now in a league that is finally receiving the public attention it has been frantically pursuing for decades. Whether Clark will continue to rule the league and shatter every record in sight is no longer the issue. At this time, that is almost a given. The true issue is whether the WNBA and its elite can manage the turmoil, envy, and fundamental power shift that accompany her extraordinary ascent to the top. Can a league that has consistently advocated for equality? And does sisterhood endure when a single player surpasses the sport as a whole? Cunningham seems to agree, but she is also ready to battle anybody who attempts to undermine Clark. And judging by everything she has said and done so far, that battle is just getting underway.